Hello friends and welcome to my new episode. Today I'll be talking about a man, an actor, for whom a new word was created in order to describe his aura, his magic, and the great influence he had in Hindi commercial cinema. And the actor I'm going to talk about today is the first superstar of India, Rajesh Khanna. Rajesh Khanna's influence and his contribution to Hindi popular cinema is very difficult to gauge because I don't think there'll be any person, actor or otherwise, who finds a permanent place in the history books of cinema with just 3 years of significant contributions. 3 years, that's the phase from 1969 to 1972. Those 3 years, nothing was left unaffected by the Rajesh Khanna wave. It was indeed a wave because it came seemingly out of nowhere and absolutely blew the industry away, took everyone by surprise, and the mark it left in commercial Hindi cinema is so significant that it's yet to be replicated. When Rajesh Khanna drove down a jeep serenading Sharmila Tagore with Mere Sapno Ki Rani in 1969 in Aradhana, it seemed as if he had come from nowhere. Here was this extremely good-looking guy with oodles of charm, those crinkly eyes and that shake of the head, and he had taken the nation by storm. But Rajesh Khanna had worked in Hindi films before that. He made his debut with Chetan Anand Saab's Aakhri Khat, and very closely followed by G.P. Sippy's Raz. And he had won the Filmfare, the competition for young actors, similar to how Dharamji was selected, Dharmendra was selected for Hindi films. Rajesh Khanna too had won the Filmfare competition, and that's how he made his entry to Hindi films. Rajesh Khanna was not the quintessential struggler who would run from studio to studio hoping to get a role. He would drive down in his Impala to meet producers and work for them. So he really didn't have the conventional struggle that most people speak about and romanticize about. But Rajesh Khanna had this supreme sense of confidence, and he knew that it was a matter of time before he would click. But I think even Rajesh Khanna himself didn't know how big and how successfully he would click. Shakti Samanta had just finished An Evening in Paris, starring Shami Kapoor and Sharmila Tagore, and he had thought of a film titled Subha Pyar Ki, and he wanted to sign Aparna Sen in the movie, and he was looking out for a young hero. For whatever reasons, Aparna Sen didn't want to do the movie at the last minute, and Shakti Samanta had no choice but to go back to his favorite heroine, Sharmila Tagore. Sharmila Tagore too was a little skeptical about accepting the role because, a large part of the film meant she would be playing mother and with streaks of grey in her hair and things like that, and she didn't know whether at that stage of her career she wanted to do such a role. But eventually Shakti Samant convinced her and she did the role, and they zeroed down on Rajesh Khanna, this youngster, as the leading man. And that's how Aradhana was born. Subha Pyar Ki, the earlier title, was eventually changed to Aradhana. And history was made because Aradhana became a bumper hit, it became a super hit, and it had largely to do with a great script, some fine performances by everyone involved, some absolutely brilliant music. Aradhana, just like it marked the beginning of Rajesh Khanna, it also marked the second innings of Kishorekumar as a playback singer. And it had some fabulous music by S.D. Burman, be it Kora Kagaz Tha Ye Man Mera, Roop Tera Mastana, Gunguna Rahe Bhavre Khil Rahi Hai Kali Kali, and of course Mere Sapno Ki Rani, which was to become this iconic song. And the image of Rajesh Khanna on that jeep serenading Sharmila Tagore reading an Alistair MacLean novel, and Rajesh Khanna with those crinkly eyes and shake of the head, and the nation just went berserk seeing Rajesh Khanna. And Aradhana was that one big sweep at the late 60s, which heralded the arrival of the 70s, and it sort of washed away all the previous stars, the big trio of Raj, Dilip, Dev, or the music directors like Shankar Jaikishan, O.P. Nayyar, and it just seemed that the old order had to give way for the new order to come, and that was heralded by Rajesh Khanna. Alongside Aradhana, there was another huge hit which Rajesh Khanna had, which was Do Raste, Raj Khosla's family drama starring Rajesh Khanna, Mumtaz, Balraj Sahani, Prem Chopra, Bindu. And just like Aradhana, Do Raste had some fabulous music by Lakshmikant Pyarelal, and songs like Bindiya Chamkegi became, iconic songs, absolutely. So, spearheaded by these two huge mammoth hits, Do Raste and Aradhana, Rajesh Khanna began this journey of superstardom like no one before him or ever since. And the craze of Rajesh Khanna was such that today when we read about it or hear about it, it doesn't seem true. There are stories of girls, absolutely filling his car with lipstick marks. They would kiss his car all over. Some would get married to his photographs. Once his car went away from the studios, they would pick up the dust and use it as sindoor on their foreheads. The stories are absolutely incredible and hard to believe. And yet, in those days, 50 years ago, when there was no social media and when news wasn't the way it is today, the news of Rajesh Khanna's superstardom had gone all the way to UK, and BBC actually had come down to make a documentary on this phenomenal success and madness about Rajesh Khanna. And again, there are stories of how Rajesh Khanna kept the BBC crew waiting to meet him for 4 days. Every day they would, make trips to his bungalow to grab some sound bites from him, but he would keep them waiting. And it was after 3 days that on the 4th day, Rajesh Khanna met the BBC crew and the documentary was started. Anyway, Rajesh Khanna had this phenomenal success from 69 to 72. As I said, in those 3 years, he had about 16 or 17 super hits, golden jubilees. It's a record which is yet to be broken by anyone else. But one of the crucial things, if one sits down to analyze why Rajesh Khanna was, became the superstar that he was, I think one cannot overlook the fact that Rajesh Khanna was a very good actor. But having said that, I must say that he was a director's actor, because any lesser director, and Rajesh Khanna had this tendency to overrule the director and do his own thing, and at times go a bit over the top. His mannerisms, like that shake of the head and that nod and smile, at times would get in the way of a serious, meaningful performance. But given good directors like Shakti Samant, like Rishikesh Mukherjee, Rajesh Khanna would be an absolute dream actor. His performance in the title role of Anand perhaps is one of the best solo performances in Indian cinema. And whenever he acted with makers like Rishikesh Mukherjee in movies like Anand and Namak Haram and Bawarchi, Rajesh Khanna was seen as an actor devoid of his mannerisms and some of those nuances which he had. Another very important factor in this huge phenomenal success of Rajesh Khanna that cannot be overlooked is the music. You think of Rajesh Khanna and you think of some absolutely mind-blowing songs, whether it is Chingari Koi Bhadke or Kuch To Log Kahenge from Amar Prem, or Kati Patang and Ajnabi and Do Raste and Prem Kahani and Hathi Mere Sathi. Rajesh Khanna had some phenomenal music. He was lucky that he had R.D. Burman, Lakshmikant Pyarelal, Kalyanji Anandji at their peak, giving him some of their best songs. And of course, who else but Kishorekumar as the voice of Rajesh Khanna, be it Zindagi Ek Safar Hai Suhana, Zindagi Ka Safar Hai Ye Kaisa Safar, Zindagi Ke Safar Mein Guzar Jate Hai, Jo Maqam. So Kishorekumar almost seemed like the voice of Rajesh Khanna. And it's the sheer genius of Kishorekumar that he just sounded like Rajesh Khanna. When Rajesh Khanna started singing, on screen, you really thought he was singing and not Kishorekumar. That was the brilliance of Kishorekumar. But, music was such an important part in Rajesh Khanna's success story that even other playback singers like Mohammad Rafi, Mukesh, Manna De, all had brilliant songs for Rajesh Khanna. Akele Hai Chale Aao from Raz, Subha Pe Dard Bhari from Maryada, then that brilliant Mukesh song in Amar Prem, not Amar Prem, sorry, Kati Patang, Jis Kali Mein Tera Ghar Na Ho Balma. And again, the brilliance of someone like Salil Chaudhary, who composed for a Rajesh Khanna film in 1971 and didn't use Kishorekumar for even one of the three songs he sang. Kahin Dur Jab Din Dhal Jaye, Maine Tere Liye Hi Saat Rang Ke Sapne Chune, and Zindagi Kaisi Hai Paheli. Brilliant, immortal songs sung by Mukesh and Manna De. So, Rajesh Khanna had so much of great music accompanying him that they played a very important role in his success story. The amazing thing about Rajesh Khanna's story is, as phenomenal and as mind-blowing his success was, his failure was equally mind-blowing, and it left everyone awestruck. Why, how, where the slip happened, no one knew. But inexplicably, his film started flopping, and no one could figure out what was going wrong. His hit in Apna Desh in 1972 was, I think, the last of his big hits of that phenomenal phase of 69 to 72. And after that, films like Malik, Mere Jeevan Sathi, Dil Daulat Duniya, Shehzada all flopped, and people were just stunned at this seemingly sudden failure of Rajesh Khanna. And of course, years later, a lot has been ascribed to how Rajesh Khanna treated people around him during his successful era. And people were just waiting for an opportunity, that one flop and we all desert him. And that's exactly what happened. In an industry where success and talent is measured only by box office figures. The moment Rajesh Khanna's films started doing badly, people deserted him like the proverbial rats from a sinking ship. And Rajesh Khanna suddenly found himself alone. I think a crucial point, a turning point in Rajesh Khanna's career would be in 1973, when his chips were down and he knew his superstardom days were over. And he had worked earlier with Hrishikesh Mukherjee in Anand with Amitabh Bachchan as his co-star, and he was now doing Namak Haram, and he could sense the tide changing. He could sense that the dominance he had over Bachchan in the Anand days no longer existed. And Rajesh Khanna, being the star that he was, the superstar that he was, pulled his socks up and decided to show that he still had it in him to be a great actor. Namak Haram, according to me, is one of Rajesh Khanna's best performances. He is restrained, devoid of his mannerisms, and puts in an absolutely fabulous performance. And I think till the time both he and Amitabh Bachchan share screen space together, there's no picking or choosing who's better. They're both brilliant. But after Rajesh Khanna dies in the movie and Amitabh Bachchan takes over the last few minutes, he absolutely owns the movie, and he's absolutely brilliant and manages to overshadow Rajesh Khanna. And Rajesh Khanna had realized this, and there are stories of how after the first press show of Namak Haram, Rajesh Khanna apparently had told Hrishikesh Mukherjee, "My time is over. It's this new boy who's going to take the industry by storm." And that's precisely what happened. After 1973, Rajesh Khanna's stardom had waned, and it was the beginning of the rise of Amitabh Bachchan, who would go on to become such a huge mega star. But coming back to Rajesh Khanna, even during that phase of the 70s, he always remained relevant, and he always remained a big star. And actually till 1978, despite his stardom days behind him, despite not having big hits anymore, he still remained the highest paid actor. And so Rajesh Khanna didn't go away anywhere. Yes, his career was not the same as before, but he was still a force to reckon with. And there was a time in the mid-80s, around 82, 83, when Amitabh Bachchan had a string of flops, and which coincided with Rajesh Khanna having super hits in films like Sautan, Avatar, and Agar Tum Na Hote. And that trio of hits again instilled confidence in Rajesh Khanna. It rejuvenated him, and he felt as if he was going to make a comeback. And unfortunately, that was not to be, because after the three hits in that mid-80s period, Rajesh Khanna's other movies flopped, and he was never going to regain the kind of stardom he had at the late 60s and beginning of the 70s. But Rajesh Khanna will always remain the first superstar of Indian cinema. That cannot change. And no matter how big stars have been after Rajesh Khanna, beginning with Amitabh Bachchan or Shah Rukh Khan or Hrithik Roshan or whoever have enjoyed huge success, each of them will tell you that it doesn't match up to the kind of hysteria, the craze, the madness that was there about Rajesh Khanna. Rajesh Khanna, as I said earlier, was a director's actor, and he had great performances in films like Avishkar by Basu Bhattacharya, where he was so good, so restrained, and so brilliant actually. But unfortunately, he was never given credit as a great actor or performer, and it was always his stardom and his superstardom that got in the way. And I think people liked to see more of those crinkly eyes and that smile and that shake of the head that was enough to make people absolutely crazy about him. Rajesh Khanna, unfortunately, had a lot of negatives about him, more off-screen really, which hindered his relationships with a lot of people who would matter in the industry. And that's sad, because Rajesh Khanna didn't have a good PR, or he didn't have many well-wishers once his success left him. And that's the reason why Rajesh Khanna, although he kept on trying to make a comeback, could never really make a successful comeback. But having said that, as I said, there was always going to be just one Rajesh Khanna. No one could match up the hype, the hysteria, the madness that he generated. Today when you have people standing outside Shah Rukh Khan's bungalow or Amitabh Bachchan's bungalow, and we get amazed at the kind of stardom they have, all that was started by Rajesh Khanna. Rajesh Khanna would go to Ashirwad, his house Ashirwad, and stand there on the balcony, and that was enough to make people go absolutely berserk. Just to catch that one glimpse of him, people would be waiting for days and overnight, just to see Rajesh Khanna. That's the kind of craze he had. And remember, Rajesh Khanna's success, Rajesh Khanna's absolute meteoric rise to fame happened in the days when social media wasn't there. So, the impact he had, it was just sheer his charisma and his magic that created that, and nothing else. Those days, a lot of you will be surprised to know that there was a clear division between North India, Central India and Southern India, and Hindi cinema, Hindi films generally didn't do very well in South India. It was Rajesh Khanna who broke that trend when his film Hathi Mera Sathi completed a diamond jubilee, a platinum jubilee in, I think, 7 or 8 centers in South India. And people like, his co-stars like Sharmila Tagore, Mumtaz, they can vouch for the fact that the hysteria, the madness about Rajesh Khanna existed all over India. No matter where he went, fans would just go crazy trying to get a glimpse of Rajesh Khanna. I could go on and on talking about Rajesh Khanna, because I'm a big fan of Rajesh Khanna. But I need to end this episode, and end it I will with a saying that was very popular in the Hindi film industry in the days Rajesh Khanna ruled. There was a saying that Upar Aka or Niche Kaka, Kaka being the pet name by which Rajesh Khanna was addressed. So God bless Rajesh Khanna, and thank you for giving us so many countless memorable films. And I'm sure most of you would have seen some of his great works. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this episode on Rajesh Khanna, and I'll finish this episode and go back to listening to some of his immortal songs and remember him that way. Thank you for watching this video, and bye-bye.